Lei aveva questa R moscia che le dava una...
Sì, stava in ambulanza in via Giovanni Pascoli a Garlasco.
A Garlasco?
Sì.
Via Giovanni Pascoli al numero?
29, la via senza uscita, la trovo subito.
Come?
È la via senza uscita, mi sembra il 29, non ne sono sicuro.
Ma cosa succede?
Credo che abbiano ucciso una persona, non sono sicuro, forse è viva.
Ma in che senso? Cioè, cos'è successo? Lei cosa vede?
E adesso sono andato ai carabinieri, c'è sangue dappertutto e lei è sdraiata per terra.
In strada o in casa?
No, in casa.
Sì, ma è una sua parente, eh?
No, è la mia fidanzata.
Quanti anni ha questa persona?
26.
Ma lei è in casa adesso?
No, sono in caserma, sono appena arrivato, adesso vi dico cosa è successo.
Today, no music. Angelo Badalamenti.
Angelo Badalamenti.
Angelo Badalamenti.
He said, oh, that's it. Oh, it's so beautiful. Angelo. Oh, he's tearing my heart out. I love that. Just keep it going. Now, she's starting to leave. So far down. Keep falling. Keep falling. Keep falling. Now go back into the darkness.
Stefania, Chiara è una persona solare, mi dicevi.
Solare, simpatica, semplicissima, che amava studiare, si è laureata a pieni voti.
Abbiamo visto anche ieri sera filmati.
Ci risiamo di nuovo, siamo di nuovo dentro.
Il 13 agosto del 2007 entri in casa di Chiara Poggi e la uccidi?
No.
Lord. Maestro, simple. Lynch, this is the last 11 days, except 11, yes, yes, 11. Exactly 11 days it should you 4, it means 9, 79 years ago. Practically, in fact, in 11 days, as much 40 minutes will be excited, Mr. Lynch stated. The first 4 will become 5 as a sum of 5 plus 5 as a 10, so also that's practically 0, the 8, and the 30. It's January 9, so not only 2nd January, this second Friday is January 2026, but also the really 9 days of this 2036, and also the second Friday of the year, and also the second Friday of the year 2026. David, Mr. Lynch. David, slide Mr. Lynch. Can you hear me from here? Good. And if... Can't believe it. It's a Friday. What's a day? Eating on your way yesterday with the beautiful sky with a shine. Questo è il momento che tu hai portato su russo fiore sera e su after pratica una week contenuti eccellenti sul titolare di bella atmosfera. Today see me that we are seeing the atmosphere, bella atmosfera. At the moment I see that we are a mid sky. Sono venuto di mid the period of classic variable so the adjective is clear sunny day alternated with the clouds or vice-versa. And yes, in fact, it's a beautiful day è venuto mostly cloudy sky. In general, it's in the middle and no? The second time it's so wide, cold and really more cold perhaps in general for me. It's a year after 13 and 22 minutes. 59 Fahrenheit, 15 Celsius, this is really cold, like this is fucking cold, especially catching the juice for a little course for the winter with the course is that's beautiful. So you have to have a idea sono sicuramente il campo di assolute questa che la passata sono in la passata di poi also like that we campo di assolute quasi caduto now also for the winter camanema pratica di 19 secondi ma 6 secondi was sempre durante lo stesso anno e in particolare also for PM quindi in Italia di questa ora sta fatto non poi non c'è poi qui giuro trovare sia grande senso se si sta cosa perché io c'è questa non la separato più e adesso io che la dico also for the spinning some new reasons for the spinning associated stuff some agitato for the other ones che mi ci sto sono da suggerire che si fa a spiegare le servizi che mi questa qui but no is it either be complaining in general is obviously sweet and smooth but when I say the sentence I'm reading to this sentence in particular but when I say the sentence absolutely can complain everything to me to me in particular perhaps really for disappear cioè che I don't feel cool better I feel cool less in the period there is no practice but to practice in some years and to which I was starting for the good and when it comes to winter period I was speaking I would say that comedy which I could speak on topic in practice so in case I added a few weeks ago as I added a comment which I in questo caso in questa parte del first comment in Asterix which I can speak in fact on topic in practice so insomma con topic in practice si origina di questa parte di questo comment in Asterix capite vabbè a me non funziona più veramente fin tanto che si fa che è piccolo non è piccolo non mi si pensa te ma finché 95% è piccolo ovvero in genere in some way per me vuoi assurda non stia ma tu scatto su stazione giorgiana tu non no perché se mi metti se just for Jesus it's a good not to complete perché mi ricordo una più di sé It's a Friday once again, nessuno questo for la serie Friday. It's a Friday once again, nessuno questo for la serie Friday. It's a Friday once again, nessuno questo for la serie Friday. Ascenando di Pisa. Fantastic electric blue white. This is the sixth razor, not the story, but the first was the previous, the beautiful, the fifth, the beautiful. Because the previous, the fifth, the beautiful. Red, black and white also crashed. That's practically 3 weeks ago. And yes, it was a red razor still with me with 3 months and a half, more than a half. But this should be. I also sto considering quick about the breakfast. This should be done. Please wait 1 day. So I need to better this Friday, which I started to show it to you. Yes, and so now since 3 weeks I'm using it, obviously it's really good because it's another slightly different mode in comparison with the previous and only for the diffuser. Don't know I said it my bad at least 30 minutes, so better I shave it 30 minutes and in this case in one round to this because it obviously is new and repeat that. Should you bet once again if you don't see it well just before. Red, blue and white. Some it remembers mean fortress, so fortress also. Blue and white, but this is slightly different model. Some also remembers mean the first race of the second. I would repeat once again, this is a 6 razor, non the story ma reports, and in general con 14 anni questa Rocky sulla porta di Lynch, Santa Consulenza mia seccando il tavolo sorto di Vigent, una che non c'è, altri si ponte, se non c'è il mio music, se non so se lo so io, o so i 16 per i gatti. Being ready after, I think tre partecipanti di servizi certi before, che fino a fare anticipativo senso. Art, importante tutto consigliare che ci vedi. Fondo e venisa. Queste le cortine sono da rese cortine in genere, vedi sempre saltando ci usa il nostro agio, anche se su questo fa consultare dai vidri Sky, Middle, considering fact the trends of last week, 7 days, fact that and also considering according to what I read, it's I think it's possible. I think most sure that later after because obviously the after might become darker, bleaker, and also that might in after moments they I think we're really close, but let's see we see what happens. But as always, no, bisogna continuare a rizzarsi su questo possibile, next years con skin to live via. Bad. That's what most little. Così mythical quindi cortine white cortine i flowers local flowers mix between the plants in the curtains and stone and one and also about the third particular the break suit in beautiful great beautiful painted branch with beautiful painted with branches that nipple the passage on pack a verso in the curtain routine to the meta theory the one my comment section it should be the third point from in the first comment questa forse quando era one of the things si ride come section I don't know if you can read it I see to wait in the shot on the me think of yes the green flowers and flowers mix of plants or if not even better surely better from the shot pratica first part of it which Perucho alla shot to do better sky the atmosphere già from this window is a classic windows classic room because also mythical windows obviously also the other mythical window with the other room. Also more perspective also from this other practice is the shot similar to the classical shot film more than interesting for the very good thing but the beautiful very good thing the best perhaps for the first thing we also got the boards canale cortine many fantasy exactly this should the canale cortine 16 covering the Egyptian and as so no I return one day I should change it as this shot so related to effect both when there is a glory shoot and also when there is a tomorrow when there is the effect is measure ragazzi era da little più senza sì che uso di per sportina vedete la greco beautiful greco cortina beautiful painted del bench so sì che perhaps so the first cortina the color the cortina and also sì che hanno intervento exactly and also sì che now si vede it for the new cortina so diventa with the expression also sì che for first time so as a little speech or sentence is it but also loro questo better visible for me needs sentire in this shot a 3 secondi si mitico la leggenda di shot Very shot. Ricordate il video riuscito in ottimismo a fatto sì che video senza farsi l'ax ottobre perché si importa porta se tutto su di ottimismo na a si vede visto più sentence per the curtain also usually for the curtain also for it because e se vale lo si for it so repeat once again but also always better visible for me it's activity e in this shot at this one si miti con legendary shot e finally from medical keeper AG 640 EPG 625 also in case of micro legendary shot. E fa, questi molto piccolo, florando i porti, serve indicatore. Sono un buon vestito, so per faccio per schifo. And finally, I hope you will get breakfast. Today it's really in general so massive, as I repeat, last December 31, 2025, in that occasion was the first time visiting fact that practically it's late for me, but it's not because kind of normality is ours for me in this period, but in general, from another, it's also late, so vabbè, quando sono in età mi esprimo so better perhaps these things, vabbè, but important, but all important that we see for even regular action, semmai su street was so lui fucking breakfast, fi internet su invito, start with at fi internet partendo da tre tu su est su think the regular is go semmai street su stracio. Guarda tu repeat. Guarda tu close the carriera, little sonars, but si mette not, but see not more not that yes, well, viene just rolling obvious, that's un quarter 13 and 32 minutes. L'important thing is that someone also the important with the zone, and that's a real let's say. Like verse the most picks in the world. Absolutely. Sono sincero, ma io non sapete, no, should be most 1 year, forse perhaps also more than 1 year, as also si chiede also lo strappunto, the fact X from a reason Friday with the fifth reason, beautiful fifth reason with the red, the black and also white, and it crashed the was a bit before, and perhaps one of the follow Friday with the port, and yes, this should be done period with, but 1 day or 1 time, so I damage better, so you better visit it, or the image started with the single meteor speech, for example, shots of the same perché but most one year senza che nessuno freestyle Pics another my favorite fact there are many beautiful combos the beautiful biscuits and yes I think that one makes the best kind of types biscuits are chocolate chip cookies or cookies chip chocolate chips per te mistake also favorite biscuits Mr. Lynch but in particular I think that the red this first one what milk factory shots non che ti coffee così but also scoop shop in fact così non sta fresh black with video so shot and I think 7 8 months so che also lo sto con ci mi sta in period bet si seme monzo, che possono dire che lo conosci mi stai in pieno, per mi si mette quanta c'è mentre dopo so money is quick to finish it, now there is one thing which is brought it to 174, 75, 76, e se sono chiesa allo sto punto c'è le visite di Peter, per mi si mette quando c'è su, and so since that moment let's say I pattern insert it once again in the mix, so very good news. Quindi se questo effetto in cosa black passa questa bomba se la timino in particolare a me la bomba e possiamo che se la TP del suo gioco ma tocca il matto una storia su corsa mi riferisco questo stanno su TP e ne pensiamo molto che tolla in cosa black passa questa mega bomba se continua se basta sia sta e farà più sia sta da Conad Italian ragazzi mi sa che siamo questa posizione proprio su che seguo video ma morsi bettesi preso o se seguo preso posizione cosa? Un'altra vez preso posizione in Italian Palm, Dark Chocolate, Italian Cereals, qualcosa. And tu come name tu, magari ti se letteralmente tutti, after many time, I also so secondo su after many time, many weeks, once again letteralmente tutti, because really super bad. tomorrow suppose from today, perché non ti tomorrow, to kuru lepe, ma well, sì.